Hello, my name is Amna Khatib Paracha. I'm the Chief Digital Officer and also the Chief Strategy Officer at GroupM Pakistan. And I'm very excited to be at Effie's today. The process has been really interesting from judging the entries, looking at the results, how ideas are brought to life, meeting my other fellow jurors. It's always been a pleasure being here. Okay. So for this year, in the judging criteria, what excites me the most is that the insight was there and the strategic idea was there. How was all of this tied in and brought into how the execution happened? How the idea was brought to life. That is something which really excites me, because you can have a thought process, but putting it down and executing it all out is where the magic happens. So that is what particularly interests me when I'm looking at categories and looking at ideas and their success. Okay, so as a marketeer, last year there were changes that happened. There were new avenues. For example, e-commerce really picked up, digital platforms really picked up. I think the challenges the brands will face is how will they keep on having the continuity on these platforms, because now the natural push to actually go on social media or e-commerce might not be there once things settle down and people go back to their normal lives. But how do the marketeers keep the traction on for these platforms is where the whole success will be measured at. So I think not just the global brands are becoming or focusing more on sustainability. I think that is where the consumer is heading towards. So the consumer wants to be associated with products which show sustainability and which are more than just a product. So because of that, the local clients also now have to venture out into similar avenues where, let's say, the international counterparts are. So I think this is something where has become the need of an hour, because the consumer has evolved. The consumer wants to look beyond. The consumer wants to look at a product beyond just a product. What can it bring to the consumer's life? What all does the product offer? So I think that is why we are going in that direction. Local brands are also going in the same direction, and they're doing a really good job at it. So I think in reference to gender gap, I think the situation is getting better, because we are getting a lot of females in early career time or mid-career time. How do we keep and sustain them over their careers and keep them for longer is what the challenge is. But now I see that most of the companies have really created or have policies around that, which is helping women come up the ladder. So I think that gender gap will eventually close down even more. From what I see around me, there is no differentiation between the two genders. Whoever does the work better goes up. So that is what the whole purpose is now. Okay, so I think there's a lot of work that is still needed in order to have actual influencers. An influencer is a person who has his own personality, has his own aura around them, and when they talk about a product, they add value to it. Just taking the brand message and just posting on your own platforms and giving that the reach that you have is not called influencer. I think in that arena we have a lot of work to do. We need to formalize this industry even more. So it cannot be a person who just has more following is the right person. That following could be coming from anywhere else, maybe not even the target audience that you're looking at. So formalizing this industry is very, very important. And maybe not everybody is an influencer. You could be a blogger and you could be an influencer. So it's not a generic term. So I think the differentiation needs to start coming, because now more money is going behind the PR element of how we do things. So we need to hold these influencers, bloggers more accountable for what they're doing, how they're adding value, and the whole science really needs to come behind it. A positive change I would like to see in the media industry especially is more networking. I think the marketeers still network, they still learn from each other, they still have platforms where they meet. In the media industry, we don't get to meet our competition. There's still competition, but learning from each other is still something that I want to do. It should be cross-learning from each other. That is how the industry grows. I think that is something the marketeers have done well. They have their own associations, they have their own platforms where they meet, but media industry has not really done that. So I see that there's apart from being competition, I think we can learn from each other also. So that is what I think we can do, that there is a gap for that. Hello, I'm Amna Khatib, and you're watching me on Wow 360. Keep on watching. Thank you.